Hello everyone, welcome. I'm going to go post the link over on the website. Our website is jollyrogerukulele.com, and from there you will get our daily links and all the sheet music we play, and we're up to 333 pieces of music on the website, which really makes me laugh. We're really cranking it out this year, and really proud of everything that's on there. So love to have you swing by and check it out. Let's see, today we are playing Spanish Romance, page 1 of Spanish Romance, because page 2 is going to require some homework. So we will talk about page 2, but we're not probably going to get to play much of it. All right, let me make sure this is going fine. My text machine is just going bananas. Let's make sure that the world is not falling apart. No. Everything is groovy. All right, so I should take my electronic communication more seriously than I do. Let's see here. Slow down. Spanish Romance. That's going to open up into correct page. Very exciting. Let me go tweet this. https://jollyrogerukulele.com. My wife and the cat are standing outside the door because the cat will not go to take a nap. So he's all a mess, and Donna's trying to talk him into going and laying down. I don't know what his deal is today. Henry. And I don't like him in here. He gets all over everything. Spanish Romance, Jolly Roger. All right, so now we have tweeted. And let's see, so I can close out Twitter, and we can close out that dialog box, and there we go. So Donna is now bringing Henry in. Henry has not taken his nap today, and so he's being a brat. Don't bring him in here. I'm gonna play, so you don't come over here. Yeah, he's being a brat. All right, so we're having cat crisis here. I guess since it's Spanish week, we're having gato crisis here. I don't know what the word over crisis is in Spanish. Gato something or other. Gato problems. Diane, how are you? Can't seem to warm up. I know, we have crummy weather today. It's all cloudy and overcast. I think it's only 30-some degrees out there. Let me check. Here's the weather report from Denver. Let's find out what it says. Yeesh. Hold on. Click here. 36 degrees. It's going to start raining here at 5. We are the highest we're getting today, Diane, so put a sweater on. Go take a hot shower or something. Lynn. Okay, about to have thunderstorms out there, right? New Jersey's about to get some serious rain. In Colorado, we're always like, oh, we like the rain. We don't have any idea what real rain looks like. Lynn knows. She's in New Jersey. She knows what real rain looks like. Terry, hola. Chilly again here in Denver with snow on the way. Yeah, they say we're going to get a little snow tonight. So, yeah, it's keeping us honest. It's April, right? It's not June. Let's see. Nice morning, though, we're in New Jersey. How's Donnie? Donna's feeling much better. You know, it's interesting. Donna, I don't think she didn't, get nauseous or anything. We had a little bit of a headache, a little bit of an upset stomach, a little bit, but mostly she was just like blah yesterday, and so she came through it pretty well. She could probably better than I will, and so she's feeling much better today, and chasing the cat around trying to get him to take a nap is what she's up to right now. I'd like a nap too. Hey, Red, here you go. Oh, that's a fart. No, that's terrible. Hey, Red. Nancy's in today. 84, beautiful sunny day there in Florida. Shut up, Nancy. Shut up. Nancy wins every day. Kat, welcome in from Texas. Texas sunny but chilly, I think Rob told me. So good to have you, Kat. Evelyn, 69 degrees, and oh, it started raining down in Cuenco. No gato problems there. Henry is, of all of the cats I've owned in my life, Henry is the least amount of problem. He hardly ever does any biting. He's always sweet and loving and snuggly and all this stuff. Last night, let me tell you the problem with Henry. Last night, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning or something, I wake up, blink, I don't know why. I'm like, oh, brother. So Henry senses this. You know how cats are. They have spidey sense, and so he senses I'm awake. So we kind of hang out for a little bit. He decides he's going to sleep on the pillow with me, and he ends up sleeping with his face right against my ear. And he's at first he's purring, and then pretty soon he's snoring in my ear. And I'm like, cat, go sleep somewhere else. Amy's in. Hey, Amy. Ronnie is in. 58, aloha and sunny. I think Ronnie is New Mexico's been stuck in kind of a holding pattern now. I keep waiting for it to come in and say it's 90. My memory of New Mexico is it's 95 degrees every single day. Summer, winter, everything. That's not true, but that's what I remember. Linda, how are you? Dick, good to see you. And from New Hampshire, how exciting. Dick, I think you've been in before, maybe? I can't remember. Your name, I think your name looks familiar. And I have a vague recollection of New Hampshire. It's very exciting. Good to have you, Dick. Chris is in. Good to see you, Chris. Chris got her strings changed this weekend. And good to see her. Terry. Tienes una crisis con el gato. You have a crisis with a cat. That's it. Terry, you're our expert on speaking Spanish so far. And it's snowing hard on North Gulf. Really? Is it snowing already out there? It is definitely looking like it ought to be snowing out there. Ugh. Sandy, 37, mostly sunny at this moment in time. Yeah, Sandy's up in Michigan. Yeah, we probably shouldn't be talking about snow with her around. Jacqueline is in. Hey, Jacqueline. Carol in from the mountains. Excited about today's music, at least. Yeah, until you try it. No, today's music will be fine. It's tomorrow's music that you're going to be sad about. Donna is in. Hello, Donna. Cold and gray. That's exactly right. Regarding the second COVID shots, typically women are affected. Isn't that funny? If you're younger and you're female, it seems like those COVID shots are beating you up a little bit more than the others. So, I'm probably a teenage girl on the inside. You guys know me at this point, so you probably can imagine me having quite a struggle with my second shot. It's a Spanish romance kind of day, exactly. Marianne in from Michigan, good to see you. Janice, sun is setting, heading your way. Nice. Yeah, we're not getting any sun today, Janice. Janice is in. By the way, I'm going to tell a rat out Janice. She played Happy Birthday for her husband yesterday, and he recognized the tune. So, way to go, Janice. Michelle, found my way back from Rockaway Beach. Good to see you, Michelle. Rita's in from Illinois. Banjo. Lynn in from back in California. Bob, good to see you, my man, in from Kentucky. I haven't seen you in a while. Woke up 2 inches of snow this morning. Appalachian music. We are going to need to do some. Absolutely, Bob. Absolutely. We need to, it's interesting. You go to these folk music jams, which I don't get to anymore, but I used to go often. And there's always all these crazy, funny songs from Appalachia that we would do in all these folk music jams. And none of them stuck in my head, but they're all hilarious and awesome. So, we'll have to do a little bit of that. I'll have to dig around and see if I can come up with some gems, Bob. Great idea. Bruce is in from Virginia. Dick, it's your first time, Dick. Oh, okay. I have a vague recollection. I guess I channeled you in my dreams. Good to have you, Dick. Christine, leaving town for 12 days. Will continue with harmonica classes and ukulele classes in Reno, bringing my musical instruments and music. Yeah, heck yeah. Guys, one of the things with travel, you got a travel-sized instrument, and it's super easy to travel with the ukulele. Harmonica, obviously, you stick it in your pocket, but even ukulele, I've traveled all over the world with mine. I just sit it right down underneath the seat. Be thoughtful if you have if you have a full-size tenor, sometimes they won't slide under the seats with these stupid modern airplanes, and so you end up putting it up above. And you want to be really mindful if you put your ukulele in a soft case up above. People will jam their suitcases in right on top of it, and that's the end of your ukulele. So when I travel, I usually carry my soprano, and it's in a hard case. That slides right underneath the seat. But if I don't want to have it down by my feet, I can put a hard case up in the bin above. So just be mindful if you're traveling and you're going to use a plane, which is crazy right now. People are doing it to use a hard case if you've got a tenor, and you probably want to have a hard case. And they tend not to be able to fit under the seats anymore. Our airplanes are like sardine cans. Vic is in from sunny Eugene, Linda in from Vancouver, Patty in from locally here, and a bit of encouragement. Had no problem with her second shot, only slight arm soreness, and no worse than a flu shot. Yeah, I get my flu shot every year. I usually have a tiny bit of soreness there. So, Clay, welcome in. Good to see you in Northern California. All right, guys, thanks for all the pep talk. I'll make about right toward the end of class. I need to make an announcement about next week's schedule. But let's dig into Spanish Romance. Here's the thing, guys. You're going to just enjoy playing page 1, and you're just going to be such a delight, and then you're going to get to page 2. And so we're going to cover page 1 in a little bit of detail here, then we're going to talk about page 2, and you're going to need a little bit of time to dig into it tonight, and just because your hands are going to be all wonky and weird, and low G ukulele players, you're welcome. I almost never arrange for low G ukulele, but in this case, because of the style of music it has to be played in a certain way. Low G players, you accidentally benefit from this. High G players, you're going to end up with a completely different song in 2 measures than everybody else, and it'll be cool. Okay, so let's go through this. Just the first page. Let's talk about things to think about. 1. Look at your chords just for a moment. You know how I always do this? You know how this is like my thing? If the main chord is A minor, pretty good chance, B, C, pretty good chance we're going to see a D minor and an E. And as I look through there, sure enough, D minor and E7, 3-chord song. You're just playing folk music. Okay? Nobody knows where this song came from, by the way. Your main chord, A minor, play that for a while, then D minor, right, A minor, into D minor, and go to E7, and end up on A minor. That's your whole song. That's it. That's the whole first page. Exactly 100% what we would think of in music theory as being standard issue, right? Okay? So you're like, all right, that part we can deal with. Then, next thing you should notice is triplets. And we've talked about it before. It's important that you guys get a sense of what a triplet is because they're really, really cool in music. They come out, they are very handy. You have a waltz here. 3 beats in every measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's what you're playing, and then D minor. Okay, so that's what you're playing is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But for the first beat, you're going to squish 3 notes in that space. That's what that triplet. They're fitting 3 notes into 1 beat, and then they're fitting 3 notes into the next beat and 3 notes into the next beat. So those triplets are really fast, and so you don't want to play this song really fast until you're good. And here's the other thing about this piece. When you listen to a classical guitar player play this, they will be using a technique down here where they'll be doing this. Okay, we're not going to work on that technique, but we are going to work on getting an idea of that technique where we speed the song up to the maximum speed that you're going to be able to play it. So, I don't like to play fast. I don't even believe that playing fast should be a goal ever. But this piece, it's going to make a lot of sense for you to get it as fast as you can play the hard parts. Let's put it that way. Hey, Kari, welcome in. So, first measure, 7s and 0s, right? So, you're going to just, these 3 fingers. So that little phrase there was 1, 2, 3. That's about 60 beats per minute, right? That's super slow. If you need to, play it at half that speed. The key is to be smooth and to make sure that whatever note is on the first string is louder than its friends, because the melody is going to be on this first string through the whole piece, almost. And then you got one more 7 in measure 2, and a 5, and a 3, 3 again, 2, couple of zeros, grab the 3. Now, wasn't that so fun, right? So the first 4 measures, let's play those together, and let's remind ourselves how much we love ukulele, because things are about to get a whole lot different on this song. Here we go, from the top. 1, 2, 3. Next note's a 12. So wouldn't it be cool if whatever finger you end up with here also ends up on 12? See what I'm doing there? So your last, when you come into measure 4, whatever finger you use to hit that 7, slide it up. Now you're not going to really hear that, right? I'm overemphasizing it, but if you can, and it depends on the quality of your ukulele a little bit too. Like this is a pretty decent ukulele. Still ringing as my finger goes up there. You get a little bit of a zip, a little bit of a slide on the string, but it's not required. Obviously, if your ukulele has already died out, you can just pick it up, move it up there. Okay, so let's do 4 12s in a row. Play. And come down to 10. 8. Now here's where things get messy. Okay, so you really want to make sure your pinky ends up at, when you play the 8-0-0, you really want your pinky there. Okay, and you're about to find out why. So make yourself a note. Whatever finger ends up playing all this other stuff, you want your pinky on the 8 when you get to the 8-0-0. Because you're going to now drop your bar on, and I gave you the full D minor up there. You don't need to hold down the top string, so really just put your bar in on 5, and then you've got this next little section, next 2 measures covered. And then a 7, change it out for your ring. Open it up to the 5s. 2 of those. Ring. Pinky. Here's where things get a little dicey. Okay. Now remember, this was probably written by a guitarist, and it makes a lot of sense on a guitar. Would not necessarily have the same cachet on a piano. When you see, especially when you see this type of thing where it works out perfectly on the fretboard, you're like, yeah, it was written by a guitarist. Now you've got you're at the end of measure 8. Now we've got to get to that E7 shape in measure 9. So this is your regular E7, but there's also an E7 with a bar on 7 and your middle finger on 8. Now you really do want this, okay? So that's why I went ahead and gave you the more advanced chord shapes up above there. You really do want a bar on 7, middle finger on 8, okay? So that when you play that note, you're going to then need to get 8, 7, 8. The only way to conveniently do this is to reach your ring finger underneath where your middle finger is. Grab that 8, take it back off. Okay, so that really does need to be your ring finger. That 8 on the first string in measure 9. You really need to have your ring finger there, because you're going to need your pinky up here on 11 in just a second. Okay, so let's go to measure 9, put that shape on, bar and middle finger, play the first 3 notes, reach under, grab your ring finger, Take your ring finger back off. Pinky up to 11. Back to your ring finger, and that's why you have to use your ring finger, because you got to go from pinky to ring to the 8 again. Take it off, and you're done through the hard part, and then just grab your 7. Slide it down to 5, to 3, 2 of those. 1, 2, 0. Now, here you got a choice. You should put on your E7 to get the 2 0 2s, but you don't have to. You could just put on your index and middle. It'll be fine. You're not going to use that top string. But probably for style points, you put on your real E7. Okay? And then let's play 13. Go. Ring finger forward. And then back. That's 3 full beats. Okay, so don't rush that dotted half note there. When you get to the bottom of 16, you're going to go play that first page. Classical music from the late 19th century, guitar pieces, was very common. You do the first page twice, the second page twice, and then you go back and play the first page once. Okay, I didn't set this up this way. I thought play the page 2. Page 1 twice, page 2 twice, and that's good enough. But this would typically have been played twice, 2 times at the beginning, then you play the next 2 pages twice, and then you come back and play the front page by itself 1 time. So let's play from top to bottom. Let's take our time. Where I'm going to go keep the pace purposely slow, because everything's duck soup until you get to 9, and then you're like, okay. So not fast. 1, 2, 3. Hey Arlo, welcome in. You see where we're headed with this idea? So when we work on a song like this that you know is probably written on a guitar, probably a teaching song, probably some teacher somewhere wrote this for a student and they're like, here, this is how you make an E7 up the neck. Here's what a D minor on 5 looks like. It's exactly the same thing as I give you guys all the time in these arpeggios. What we're dealing with here is that when you're that prescriptive, you really have to make your fingering decisions, make yourself some notes on the tablature, and then stick with it, right? If you're in classical music, they don't give you the tablature, so then you're like, oh gosh, where do I play all of this stuff? And it's such an inferior system, but that's what they do. That makes, it's how they figure out who to kick out of music school. But with the tablature, perfectly, exactly 100% clear what you're supposed to play. Doesn't make it any easier, but definitely gives you a shooting, the possibility of playing some of this nice, beautiful stuff. So one more time through, I'm going to slow it down just a tiny bit. It felt like maybe it was a little bit fast for your first couple of times through. So let's slow it down even more. We'll take our time. Remember, if you can get your pinky on the 8 at measure 6 and your ring finger on the 8 at measure 9, I think that you will be able to, the rest of it should hopefully just magically leap out of your instrument. A little bit slower than before. 1, 2, 3. 5, 3 twice. 2, 0 twice. There's that 7, all the way to 12. 1 more. 10. Pinky on 8. Bar. 7. 2 5s. 7. 8. Ring under, ring off, pinky, ring, open, 7. 5, 2 3s, a 2, a 0, E7, 1 more, 3, 2, opens. Okay, aren't you glad we did all those arpeggios? You're like, yeah, there's no big problem. Page 2 is going to turn into another issue altogether, but just enjoy this while you can. Now, play it slow until you can get it steady. Here's the biggest mistake I made as a young musician was I wanted to play everything fast, and so everything I played was rush, 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 crash, rush, 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 crash, rush, 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 crash. And that's not what you want. Spanish romance. You're trying to woo the ladies, right? You're trying to make this as soft and beautiful and as flowing and continuous as possible, and so moving from one chord shape to the next is really, really important, and so you don't want to have any hiccups along there. Once you get where you know exactly where every finger is going to go, then you go back through and you start talking about speed. Stopping there because I know the next thing's going to be a problem. But that's what you're going for, right? To get it slow, get it smooth, and then start cranking up the speed. You want this thing, you want to play this thing as fast as you possibly can. And so why don't you play with me? Let's play just the first 8 measures. We'll stop at measure 9 because then it gets sad. But let's just play those first few measures. Let's see if we can really crank it out because those are pretty straightforward, okay? Here we go. A couple of thoughts here. Kari says, so when adding ring finger to the 8, I have to move the bar on 7. Yeah, you could do that, right? It's not ideal, right? You're sitting here. Here's what Kari's talking about. She's on this bar. We've got this bar on 7 with your middle finger on 8, and you have to have that arrangement to make the first 3 notes work. Now, when you're middle, somehow you got to get this 8 held down, but you don't want to lose this bar too much. So if you have to slide that back a little bit, because you're not going to use it anyway, you just got to make sure your 7 on the second string stays there, right? So it's definitely, you run the chance of goofing up the second string there, but if you have to, it'll work, right? So that's that issue, is that Kari's like, man, every time I get my ring finger under there, my bar ends up getting messed up. Not ideal, but as long as you're continuing to hold down the second string on the 7th fret, you'll be fine. I have fat. She says I have fat fingers. No, you don't. You have lovely, perfect fingers. I've seen your fingers before, Kari, and they're just lovely. They look like the hands of is it Athena or is it? Who's the smart one? Athena, right? Aphrodite is the goddess of love. Yours is the goddess of wisdom. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Maybe the goddess of love too. I don't know. Let's see. Christina says, on chords D minor and E7, are we supposed to be playing on frets 5 and 7? On chords D minor and E7. Are we supposed to be playing on frets 5 and 7? So I think, Christine, I'm understanding the question. When you're at the D minor at fret at measure 7, the chord is really D minor, but you don't need to put this ring on because you're not going to use it. So you're really just going to put this bar on here at 5 for the D minor. Yes, on 5. And then the E7, yes, the bar is going to be on 7 with your middle finger here. So unless I'm misunderstanding the question, Christine, I think the answer is yes. Okay. Amy says, Romanza is one of the first classical songs I learned on guitar. It's different on uke. Well, yeah. So this is a pretty standard issue. This and the other one you're doing a studio are pieces that they will give to, once you go through enough to get where your guitarist can hold the guitar without it, them flying out of the chair, and they can actually tune E, A, D, G, B, E, which is in and of itself about a 3-week process. Yes, this is a piece that you would start a young classical guitarist on because it's relatively predictable, and you can play it as slow as you want and it's still going to sound beautiful. So, but there is, in your defense, Amy, a million different versions of this out there, and the advanced guitar players use this. How we do tremolo? Well, they do that exact thing, but they just use 3 fingers down here and they can do it on all the different strings. It's just breathtaking to watch. You're like, how long did that take you to get where you could do that well? And it seems like it's years. We just do this, and that's our tremolo. But they can do it with just 1 string and 3 fingers, and so there's a lot of that goes on out there. Much more complicated versions of that. So yeah, Amy, you probably were playing a more complicated arrangement than this one, but I don't think it needs to be more complicated, because really what you're after here is the melody, right? And then with some pretty stuff around it. That's the melody. That's your melody right there. I'm just playing the top note of it. It's all on 1 string, an entire song on 1 string. That's what you're after. Everything else is window decoration, right? And so getting every note on the top string, getting it as clean and perfect as you can, and that melody will leap out and people will be like, oh, I love that song. Ronnie, I love this arrangement. It needs practice to memorize, okay? Your voice is fading out. My speakers are at 100. Maybe I should talk louder. How about that, Diane? I don't know why am I talking low? Both the microphones are set up normal. Sorry. Okay. Sound is okay for Christine. Okay, I'll just speak a little louder. I think I'm just probably mumbling. You know how I do? I talk so much I start mumbling. So you've got your melody, you've got your idea, you've got the basic concepts here, and then play it slow. Here's what I make a rule. I have one little boy who's just crazy fat, crazy ridiculous player. I think he's 8 or 9. We have a rule. You can play everything as fast as you can play the hardest part. Okay, the hardest part here is measure 9. So whatever speed that you can play to get this done, whatever speed you can play that at is how fast you can play the rest of it at. So go through and play it a handful of times until you find out what the speed is that you can play the fast part at, or the hard part at, and then that's the speed you want to play the entire piece at. Uke sound is fine, just your voice. I will talk louder, Diane, for sure. Did I that's working. It's working. All right, sorry. I'll just talk louder, Diane. Let's see how fast we can play just the first 8 measures. Okay, all on the first string, mostly open. 1, 2, 3. back through it again. I made a mess of it. 1, 2, 3. I'm still making mistakes, and so with a piece like this, in order to get it up to that, so in other words, I'm making mistakes, so I'm playing it too fast, so I got to dial it back just a little bit. And so just be aware that if your speed is this speed, but you can play the whole thing at that speed, then that's the right speed. Okay? Then once you get it, and what will happen with this piece, because it's pretty repetitive, you get where you kind of have it memorized just a little bit. You will probably need to look away from your sheet music for a few of the spots anyway. You'll get where maybe not memorize, but you know what happens next, and so you feel comfortable looking down at your fretboard. Once you're there, then you start pushing the speed a little bit, right? And trying to get it as fast as you can with that. All right, so we're still all right. So I think Diana might just be something associated with your computer. It sounds like everybody else can hear me. All right, page 1. Let's talk page 2. We're not going to play it, but I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice. All right, first question I have for you: music theory. You know how I like to push that on you guys just a little bit. First 16 measures are in A minor. Hey Laurel, welcome in. You're working in A minor, okay? And most of you guys know this, but here's A minor. Sounds kind of sad, kind of serious. Sounds like there's work to be done. Okay? Here's A major. Sounds like the sun's coming out. I'd go out on a date with that chord. That chord's going to let me have access to its credit card. Right? Very happy, very pleasant, very easy to get along with chord. Minors are sad. Majors are happy. Okay? Sort of. So your first page is in A minor. At the very bottom of this page, on the very far right-hand side, you see 3 sharps. Okay? What that tells you in music, when you're about to leave one key and go into another key, they're going to put up a bunch of sharps and flats and changes there. And what that tells you at the end of 16, before you even look at page 2, you're like, okay, there's going to be a key change. That means I'm going to get a whole new different set of chords that I'm going to be playing. So the first part of this song, there's no sharps or flats, so I'm either in the key of C or the key of A minor, clearly in the key of A minor, since it starts with A minor, ends with A minor, a whole bunch of A minors in the middle. So now we're playing page 1 in A minor. When I get down to the bottom, I see those sharp signs show up, hashtags, millennials, then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm going to get all new chords. So I look over, sure enough, I get a real A chord, no longer an A minor. I get a real E chord, no longer an E7, at least for the moment. It changes in just a second. And then instead of D minor, I have my D. Still that 1-4-5 arrangement, just the major versions of those chords. So now the first pages. That's the first page. Second page is so a whole lot more energy, a whole lot more easy to get along with. Okay, so your new chord's A chord. Now here's 19 and 20. We're just going to skip over that for a moment because we have to talk about that. Measure 21. You still have an E7 bar on 7 with your middle finger here. Okay, and it's going to get even more interesting because now you really do have to use your ring finger on the 9s. Okay, and then at measure 23, you've got to use this A chord, which is index finger on the low 7, and then these 3 fingers have to squish in on 9, and you really are going to have to do this, unfortunately. and then you get yet another A chord at 25, which is a bar on 9, and your pinky clear up on 12. Okay, and measure 27. You guys are used to D chord being here. There's also a D chord here, bar on 5, and A shape in front of it. That's also a D chord. You're going to use that chord at measure. I'm sorry, that chord shows up at 28. At 27, you've got the bar on 9 and F shape in front. That's also a D chord. Okay, so you have D chords all over the place, and then you got another E chord yet. At measure 30, which is the D chord like this. Okay, so the shapes I gave you are the advanced shapes. Those are the shapes you're probably going to need to use. So let's walk through it kind of slow. Just double check that a few things. So first measure, not too bad. 1s and 4s. Probably just put your index and pinky there. See how easy it is to get along with? And then you grab the 2. Now, I have done this every single way in the world to figure out how to best to play this. My idea is take your index finger, which is on 1, slide it up to 2, put your middle finger up here on 4, and your ring finger here on 5. Now, I need to stop for just a second, and you need to listen. If you have a high G ukulele, you have a high string here. This entire piece is built around the notion that the strings are in order. Your strings are not in order, so your note here is an octave higher than it's supposed to be. If you have a low G ukulele, you're going to be fine. It will sound just normal. You'll hear it when we do the baritone here in just a second. But you're going to get a high sound there instead of the low sound. Don't lose sleep over it. It's way better to learn the technique and the overall feeling of it. And then one of these days you'll buy a baritone or a low G and it'll come together. But it sounds even cooler, I think, on a high G because you're not expecting that. Fun. You're expecting an octave lower. It comes out at the high. So when you get this shape on index, middle, and ring, then it's 5, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4. I've been sliding my ring finger back just because it's only one note. 3, 2, 4, up 4, 2, 4. And now you're going to go to a whole new different chord shape. And again, you're going to be up on 7. Middle finger on 8, just like the chord chart says, and then but use your ring finger on 9. 4 of those. Pinky on 11. Pinky on. So that first one where you got 3 9s in a row, right? It's probably easier to borrow it. And then grab the 7 9 9s. And then bar it on 9. And then grab your 11. And then you finally, we're almost out of the woods here. You got a 12, bar on 12 with the 9s up there. Come back to 11. 10. Isn't that cool? Listen to that note. What in the heck is that doing there? That's the wrong note. And then I would just go to a D shape here, honestly, 9, 10, 9. 4 of those. And then you have 7, 5, 6, which is really a bar on 5. This is on 6, and then your ring finger is probably going to cover this 7. Ring finger off. And then come down to the 2 and 2 4s. Ring finger up to the 5. 2 2s and a 4. And then you're done. Alright, what I wrote was because in the real piece it goes all the way down in one continuous, but I had to bump it up to fit on your instrument, and so you run out of strings, guys. You might have noticed that. 0 0 1 0 1 2. Just hold your A chord, and then back to the 0 0 1. In measure 32, I want you to do a plunk. I meant no glissando there on purpose because I want it to sound different than when you finish the song. Plunk, and then you go play the whole page a second time. It's going to take you a little bit of time. Write down your fingering choices on your paper so that, because your goal is to get this every bit as fast as page 1, even though this is 10 times harder to play. And we're gonna spend some time on this tomorrow too. Then the second time you come through, I just wrote as your ending. Okay, Linda says it's a lovely song. I'm not following this part. That's why we're not really playing it today, Patricia, because you need a little bit of time to really sit down and look at what can you do with your fingers to make these moments happen. And you're going to be thinking about, where do I put my index finger, and then how do I adjust my other 2 fingers to make it work. The fingering shapes are actually, once you made your decisions, I think are a little cleaner on this page, but they are a little more advanced, and so for the most part they make sense, but you are going to have to be moving them around pretty quickly. So I want you to just to mess around with page 2, and then tomorrow we'll spend the whole entire class just on page 2, so that you guys can have plenty of time with that page 2. When I teach this on guitar, I usually teach page 1, and then I don't teach page 2 at all. And we do page 1, everybody's happy, oh, I'm really good. And then occasionally I have an ambitious student say, well, let's do page 2. And I'll say, well, you can do page 2. And then usually they quit guitar after that. But occasionally, I've had 3 or 4 students who do page 2. And it is a much more challenging pace. I do want to take 1 second to run through the baritone with you guys, and just page 1. Go to page 1. Ukulele players, I want you to grab your chords on this. I want you to back me up. Yesterday, Cindy talked a little bit about duets, and so I wanted to fingerstyle duets. And so one of the things I want you to do, okay, on this piece, I'm going to play what's on the paper. You're going to play your simple arpeggio. And I don't care what, just put your, and play it on whatever strings you want, in what order you want. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What's going to happen is you're playing different notes that I'm playing, but we're both playing in A minor, and it's going to sound like we're really playing a counterpoint, and it's going to sound like 2 completely separate songs going on. But just play your chords just like that, and just do thumb, index, middle for everything that I play. Baritone players, let's grab your instrument. And I wanted to mention before we get too far, because I'll forget, well, I want to mention it all 3 days. On Sunday, I get my second vaccine. I am planning that it's going to go great. But in case it doesn't, I'm going to go ahead and take Monday off because of 2 reasons. One, if I get sick, I don't want to play ukulele if I'm sick. So I'm going to take Monday off for sure. The other thing that happened when we upgraded the servers to business class, remember I had to do that a couple weeks back. All of a sudden now I'm getting massive amounts of hacker attacks on the thing, and I've got all of the security procedures and apps and things that I'm supposed to have on this site in place and doing a good job of protecting against it. But there are a couple other things I've read about to further enhance our security, so I'm going to get those plugged into the site as well. If I can get it done on Monday, I'll be ready to play. I'll be back on Tuesday, but if I feel crummy on Monday, it'll probably be Tuesday before I do that, so I may take Monday and Tuesday off next week. But I will communicate with you via email as to what the real plan is. But just know that for sure Monday I'm going to take off, because if I feel fine, then I'll work on the security upgrades then. If I feel crummy, I'll work on Tuesday. I'll keep you posted. And of course, you'll check the website. I'll post all that stuff on the front page of the website. What you guys should know is that the only personal data I have on the website at all is your email address, and I am showing no signs of them having any vulnerability at all. But the only website and the only email addresses that are on the website are those of you who are subscribers. You should know there's no money on the website. The links to your PayPal are not on the website. There's nothing for them to get, even if they do get in, other than your email address if you're a subscriber. So just so I do want to tighten up, just there's a couple of things they're recommending that I could possibly do, so I got to install that stuff next week or over the weekend and make sure it's all running properly. But again, I don't maintain any personal info on you guys at all other than your email address, and I just want to make sure to keep that blocked out. And Rita's asking the question of the hour. So are we having an orchestra Monday night? I don't know yet. Honestly, I will see. I'm kind of planning on it. Let's just see how I feel, right? And if I'm feeling crummy, I will post a note that we're not doing it. But I'm planning on Monday night, and let's hope that it goes well. All right, guys, give me some chords. Let's play this. Baritone players, not too fast. 1, 2, 3. Pretty, right? And then hopefully you guys are playing along, giving me a different arpeggio pattern of the same chords, and we're probably sounding like we're doing a really fancy duet with one of us playing tough uke and the other one playing arpeggiated chords, and all of a sudden you sound like I'm a classical musician, right? But hopefully. All right, so there we go. Beautiful piece of music. Pam, let's see, didn't make it home in time for the beginning, so I'll be watching the rerun. Just wanted to say hello. Hey, Pam, good to see you. And so just remember, page 1, I think probably we ought to be able to play. Page 2, you'll really sit down and spend a little bit of time getting your fingering choices together. I've come up with what I think are my best, and it is pretty challenging second page. Okay, I'm giving it to you guys because you like to suffer, and it will sound really beautiful when we're all done. And we'll try to eventually get the speed up a little bit faster. Let's see. Pam says, "Good luck Monday. I was very tired. I've slept the day away." Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. Donna was going to not take the day off. She's like, I'll be fine. And she was mostly fine, but she ended up basically sitting on the couch most of the day. So I'm hoping, I have never had any sort of major problems with medication. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be fine. But if it's not, it's not, right? And so in any event, it wouldn't hurt to have a day to just help kind of get the website tougher than it is right at the moment. Pretty tough already. It's hard for them to get in. It's amazing how many hacks I've been trying to get through, mostly from China, United States and China. Those are the two where all the hackers are. Jennifer loves the song. Good, beautiful song. Very mellow on the baritone, right? And a little easier to play because you've got a little extra room to maneuver. Measure 9 is easier on the baritone. That's exactly what I was about to say, Carol. That measure 9 on the baritone is quite a bit easier than on ukulele. You got just this much extra room and enough for you to put your finger in there. So, thumbs up for today. Oh yeah, thank you, Ronnie. Random act of kindness. Be safe. Get your vaccine. Keep practicing. Spend a little time on page 2. It'll make tomorrow go much easier. Keep showing up, guys. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do this on your own. I guess. Press this thing and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this part, and then obviously check out Jolly Roger Ukulele if you're not a member. There's 333 pieces of sheet music on there right now, and there was last March 20th there was 0, so that tells you the amount of music that we're throwing at you. It's no wonder you're nuts. Right? All right. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful day. I will see all of you tomorrow. We'll dig into page 2. We'll take our time, and then we'll play the whole thing tomorrow and Friday. So spend a little bit of time on it, and I think it'll pay off for you in terms of just thinking through your fingerings. Cat, really enjoyed it. Something to work on. Good luck with the shot. My second one hit me about 18 hours afterwards and lasted a day or so. Nothing terrible, just a little sickly. Yeah, I have there's a couple of young men we hang out with here in the building, and they had previously had COVID, and then they got their shots, and it put them down hard. So I think I'm a little concerned about that. I never had COVID, so I think maybe I'll do better than they did, hopefully. So, Chris, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Terry, buenos dias, amigo. Jacqueline, thanks. Going camping next couple of days. See you next week. All right, Jacqueline, have fun. Stay warm. It's going to be cold up there. I'd cancel my trip. Let's see, what else? Elizabeth, good to see you. Thanks for subscribing, Dick. Appreciate it. Let's see, Elizabeth, you're welcome. Amy, good to see you. Thank you. Pam says, I'm loving page 1 already. Yeah, page 1 is great. Page 2, not so much. So, no, page 2 is beautiful too. It's just quite a bit harder to play. So, there you go. All right. Nancy, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weather. Antonio, so good to see you. Thanks, Maestro. I'm the Maestro. Yes. I don't know if I've earned that title. I think maybe I have. All right, guys. Had your second last month with no issues. Okay, good. All right. I'm going to be the guy with no issues, right? And so anyway, if you've got your email address on the Jolly Roger website, I will toss you an email about how things go for me on Sunday, and that way you'll know what's going on Monday and Tuesday next week. And also just come check the website. So, yep. Bruce, good to see you, buddy. Okay, thanks for all the work. For all the work you do see and all the work you don't. Yeah, there's a tiny bit of work you don't see. Actually, it's fascinating. Because I'm always throwing stuff together at the last minute. I got years of stuff in that computer. And I'm amazed how often I look at something and I'm like, you threw this together at the last minute. So you guys don't see that stuff, right? I clean it up. I try to have as pretty a sheet music as possible for you guys. Clay, you're welcome. Have a great day. Sisu. That's Finnish. Way to go, Sandy. Love it. All right. Michelle, thanks. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to pull the plug. Be good. Have a great day.